Good morning, students, and welcome to the new year, um, year 2021. Dr. Madhuri Chatterjee here from BBT Government College, Chimanpura, and I'll be continuing with modals. As I said, modals are the verbs, are kind of an auxiliary which are used before the verbs. I had introduced you to can, could, shall, should, will, would. Now, if we go to some more kinds of modals, you can add two to them. Suppose have to, would, should, used to, ought to, need, and be to. So these are not so regularly used, not so frequently used, but I need to explain them to you. Have to shows a kind of unwillingness of forced circumstances. I have to do it. I don't like doing it, but I have to do it. So there is a kind of reluctance, but there is also a need to do it. So there's an unwillingness. So there you have to use the word have to. Would would is wish. It's a polite request, a habit of the past. I would have been that, and I would have been a better person. I would have been able to achieve much more. So these are something when you use the word would. Should introduces shall and should. Should introduces explains more necessity or advice or blame or recommendation or reproach or regret. So I should, there can be different kind of sentences. I should be doing this. I should be following some rules. I should have been a better person. I should have not trusted him. So there can be a blame game, there can be necessity, there can be a regret. So you use should. Used to is a kind of repetitive action in the past. I used to be a good singer, and I used to be a player, and I used to study there, and I used to do that. Whatever you did in the past, then you use the word used to. Ought to is a moral duty. As I said, I ought to take care of my parents. It's a moral duty, it's an insistent advice, it's a strict recommendation. Need denotes necessity, and B2 um, shows an obligation arising out of an arrangement or agreement. So it's I am doing this, I got to follow this and been to. So that this is another kind of modal verbs. uh, we move now to some kind of negative ones also. After, as I said, must is infinite, you have to put two. Must or can't is, as I said, is a negative. It's infinite present, meaning she can't be his mother, she can't, he just left, he can't be too far. So there is can't. Then you have may or might. I have given again, he might be taking the next train, or she may be home. There is also have. She must have been in the garden when I called. So you can have use have. Then you can use have as a past participle also. You can't have seen her. Have can also be used as a past participle. That means he may have taken a different train, is a past participle. Use can't. He just left, he can't be too far. Couldn't have. So you couldn't have been that, and also he could possibly be hurt. He could be hurt. So it's may, might, can't, and must. How you need to use them. Modals of obligation and probability. When you say, now I've made a different kind of a chart here. Obligation. For obligation, you can remember this way also. You generally use must or have or will. You must not smoke. I have to go to the meeting now. If you study better, you will get good marks. You will get better. So for all the three, you are using for obligation. Probability is used when you are talking in, again, will, should, and could. If we go now, we should be on time. If you work hard, you could pass your exams. So this is a probability. Now there is a subtle difference between probability and possibility. Possibility is also something you're talking in the future, which can still happen, but probability is more, uh, more farther than a further future rather. It may or may not happen. So probability is the shopping center might be busy. there's a probability. There's a possibility. Sorry, being the, being the year end or being the new year or whatever. So it can be busy. And may is he may be in the shower. He may be. So there's a possibility he might be there in this room, or he might be in the bathroom, or he might be in the kitchen, or whatever. So maybe. So this is how you can again practice them. And one more small chart for practice is must and have. It's a past participle. So how you need to use it? Should have. It's should have plus past participle. So you have the examples also. I should have called you yesterday, but I forgot. Might, may, could have. I think I saw the girl, but I think she could be. I can be wrong because it was dark. Can't have been is also can't have plus participle is a deduction and a possibility. Needn't have is the opposite meaning. So you needn't have brought more milk. We already got too much. Needn't have. Little might could have been is again a possibility. So the point is, explaining them will not help you so much as practicing them. So what you need to do is you have the charts, you have all the rules explained to you. Start practicing, and some more sentences given for you of what I just explained. This is would have, could have, may have, might have, should have, must have, should have, didn't have, ought to have. So you have, if I guessed the future, I would have taken some precautions. And could have, you could have taken the exams. I may have passed the maths exams. I might have been a little more careful during pandemic, or you should have listened to the teacher, or you should have listened to uh, uh, the rules, the pandemic rules. Shouldn't have, you shouldn't have you know done you shouldn't have gone without a mask, as you can say. You needn't have brought it because I have already got it. And ought to have, you ought to have warned me earlier. So all the examples and the rules have been given to you. Now you start practicing these two lectures have been given to you, and there'll be one more lecture I would be introducing to for some more modal verbs and modals. Okay, thank you so much.